Ladies, he is back again. Mike Ross, the nation's sexiest comedian. He'll be performing in a city near you. Be sure to come out and enjoy an amazing show. Mike on the mic.
Mike on the mic. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Promote your brand here at Viral Hip Hop News. Email me, samant@vhiphopnews.com. No, wait, let's go.
Or just figure out different ways to build my brand and show you the things that I want, that I'm ready for you to see. It's also an evolution thing for me. You know, like I never thought that I would ever expose this many layers of myself when I first got into the business. I've always been a real private kind of a guy. It wasn't until that I started to see the benefits of being a little bit more transparent, and that's probably unique to me, just because when I started telling my story, it started helping so many other people, and I just started to get fulfillment from that. But you know, right now I'm in a space mentally where I feel like shit. I don't know if I need to be talking all the time, because now I'm experiencing like people taking what I say, flipping it. I'm experiencing people taking what I say the wrong way, just themselves comprehending it differently, processing it the wrong way based off of their own preconceived assumptions of me prior to listening to what I had to say. I experienced people only looking at like a little clip and just coming to a conclusion from there, and feeding like narratives that are hurtful to me. You know what I mean? So it's like when you start experiencing shit like that, it makes you just not want to talk at all. So now I look at like the Beyoncés and people on that level, the Eminems, and I'm like, okay, I see why they don't talk. You know what I mean? So I'm rambling, but that's kind of like some of the things that I think about right now. But I'm definitely thinking of trying to figure out some ways that I can be more involved just in the content space. But it's probably going to look more like me letting people in as opposed to me marketing some podcast to them or something like that. I don't know if I'm gonna do that per se, but there's definitely gonna be a heaven experience up here in my studio that I'm still trying to figure out a way to present it to people to where they feel like I'm letting them in to everything that goes on up here. Because you know, one of the first questions that you guys asked me was like, "Yo, I seen Cole was up there." People are interested in that, so I'm just trying to figure out a way that I can kind of like present that to them.
Right. I heard you talking, obviously you did some ghostwriting for Diddy. And I heard you talking about like Diddy, Birdman, and the Jay-Z's, and talking about how every time we hear something about them is mainly negative, but they're really legends in the game. Could you kind of expound more on that? And you know, working with Diddy and the negative perception that everybody has about Diddy, you kind of talk about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to what we was talking about with black people. It's black people doing it. You know what I mean? Like, so once I got to a certain age, I just decided, yo, I will not listen to any more Diddy slander, Jay-Z slander, Birdman slander, not even Suge Knight slander. I don't want to hear that shit. Right. You know what I mean? Because they've done too many great things. They've done too much for the culture. You know what I mean? Like, if you spend a whole bunch of time hyper focused on things that they did that was wrong, first of all, we all make mistakes, all of us. You know what I mean? Like, lately, like I've been getting like a whole bunch of backlash on the way that I support Joe. You know what I mean? Joe is my friend, bro. You know what I mean? Like, Joe was a certain kind of person when we were doing Slaughterhouse, like early on, and he's a whole different person now. And it's almost like people don't want to give him the credit for being an evolved black man, bro. Right. Like, even if he's not doing a perfect job, man, dog. Where he's at right now, I'm talking about as a person. Fuck the show. Right. Where he's at right now as a person, bro, it's night and day from where he was. Like, why are people who claim to follow this man acting like that they don't see that? And that's problematic, because it's the same with everything. Right. Don't talk to me about the deal that Puff put Mace in 30 fucking years ago, bro. Like, I love Mace, and I want Mace to have his masters because I love Mace. You know what I mean? Like, I understand where he's coming from. I understand. I relate to his side. I understand why he feels how he feels. All of that. I understand Puff's side too. I understand that Puff was one of the first black moguls in hip hop, and at that time, you know, like you probably had to do as the Romans did more so than now.
Mhm.
Nobody knows what it would have been like to be in his shoes back then. You can only fucking speculate that. You know what I mean? But what I do know, what's actual and factual, is that from the 90s all the way up until now, Puff is responsible for at least 35 to 40% of the greatest moments that you ever witnessed in your childhood and up to now. That is a fact. And we don't talk about that as much as we talk about, oh man, all the grimy contracts and all of that. Yo, these fucking record labels are still putting people in grimy contracts.
Yeah.
Nobody holds them to any standard. I don't hear anybody talking about any executive, Craig Kalmans or any of them. No shot at him. I'm just using him as an example, as an executive whose name I never hear. Why not?
Right.
Russel Simmons did this. Russel Simmons did that. Russel Simmons did that. I don't hear nothing about what Rick Rubin did. They started Def Jam together. Am I correct? Wasn't they in the same dorm room? You mean to tell me Russell was just doing all of the bullshit and Rick Rubin was sitting Indian style with no shoes on the whole time? Come on, bro. I'm tired of that shit. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying say nothing about Rick Rubin. I'm saying stop fucking talking about Russell. Right. Unless you associating him with greatness. I don't want to hear it. Period.